Is like it's summer in Scotland right now, and I have just got to talk about this, right? I just have to say this right now. Like, it does not actually feel like summer in Scotland. I'm just gonna be real here, right? So obviously, I moved back to Scotland on July 18th. Ever since then, no, like summer doesn't even feel like summer, and I'm gonna explain why, right? The reason why summer just does not feel like summer right now is because there's been days where it's been raining, and then it's been like sunny and raining and windy, and it's just like there's a lot of days where you're just having that thing of it just doesn't really feel like summer. And this is a thing to do with British culture that like really, man, that like British people think that like 20 degrees is like hot as heck. And that's like that one of the biggest heat waves in Scotland is in the UK is like it's like 25 degrees is like a 25 Celsius, right, is like the highest amount of weather and how hot it actually gets. Because let's just say this, right, if you lived in Spain, right, 80 degrees over that, like 100 degrees is very hot for you, but like 20 degrees in Spain is nothing compared to where I live. In Australia it gets really hot, but in Scotland, man, like the absolute state of summer right now, right, I have to just say that.
You are about to experience the James Rambling Show, hosted by James Batty.
Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Show for yet another episode. But before we get in today's episode, I'm just gonna say that I've got a different chair here because the wooden chair you've seen for a couple of weeks we have to put it in the dump now. We're gonna be putting it in the dump, as in gonna throw it away because it's an old chair, and also I don't have got his hat on or anything like that because today's episode is not even about what we talked about last week, but I do want to start out with this random kind of thought I had as of late, and it's gonna be the most of what like the big theme of today's episode, right? So if you remember a while ago, I think I did this episode about seasons, and I was talking about my thoughts on it. But it was this episode where I rushed it out, and I just got it out of the way, sort of thing. And I never really got my true thoughts on it. Like, I did say that I didn't like the summer, but it was only like 14 minutes long, and it was in that area of the James Allen Show where we never had 20 to 30-minute episodes. It was all over the place, sort of stuff. And the reason for that is like it's summer in Scotland right now, and I have just got to talk about this, right? I just have to say this right now. Like, it does not actually feel like summer in Scotland. I'm just gonna be real here, right? So obviously I moved back to Scotland on July 18th. Ever since then, no, like summer doesn't even feel like summer, and I'm gonna explain why, right? The reason why summer just does not feel like summer right now is because there's been days where it's been raining, and then it's been like sunny and raining and windy, and it's just like there's a lot of days where you're just having that thing of it just doesn't really feel like summer. And this is a thing to do with British culture that like really, man, that like British people think that like 20 degrees is like hot as heck. And that's like that one of the biggest heat waves in Scotland is in the UK is like it's like 25 degrees is like a 25 Celsius, right, is like the highest amount of weather and how hot it actually gets. Because let's just say this, right, if you lived in Spain, right, 80 degrees over that, like 100 degrees is very hot for you, but like 20 degrees in Spain is nothing compared to where I live. And in Australia it gets really hot, but in Scotland, man, like the absolute state of summer right now, right, I have to just say that, like, and then just double check like the how hot it gets, because I do know it's 20 degrees, but we need to double check things, right? So Oh my god, really starting off strong, aren't we? So, what is the hottest temperature in Scotland, right? So, it says here that the highest official temperature recorded. Wait, no, what? Charter Hall Scottish Borders on July 2022. What the heck? It says 34 degrees. But even then, right, like 25 degrees to like 30 degrees is like supposed to be the hottest weather in Scotland, and that just does not feel pretty hot compared to the other countries that we all know of. And you're probably thinking to yourself right now, why are you starting off the episode like this, James? Well, like I said, right, I had this random thought where I was I was just noticing that in Scotland the weather, like the season that we're in right now, doesn't even feel like the season we're in right now. And as I'm recording this, it's like August 11 or whatever, right? And it's starting to turn into spring or autumn or something like that. So technically, this is like this is a mini sequel to the seasons episode from last year, which I think I did in July. I can't really remember, right? But this is like deja vu. I've been in this place before, right? But we haven't really talked. It's not like we don't talk about weather every single week on the James Rambling Show. I just really wanted to get this out of the way, man. Like, and also, right, we didn't do a review of the new Meg 2 movie, if you've seen that, right? But I will talk about the new Meg movie, or not the new Meg movie, but Meg from 2018. But I never did a review because I never got. I'm going to be seeing the movie next week, so just to shift the topics, right? So Meg. So the Meg is this film with Jason Statham in it, and it's like a big shark and they're underwater, and it's supposed to be like this dumb, fun, entertaining kind of movie, and that's pretty much what it is, right? If you go to this movie for high quality, like intelligent, meaning of life stuff, you really don't know what you're doing, right? Because I did say this about Cocaine Bear, that it is like the most, that this movie is not that deep, bro. That is exactly what the Meg was, and it is entertaining, but I did notice that the Meg does drag on. But I mean, there was all this, they're kind of just stretching out the thin plot, and I did like it. And I did see it like a year ago or so, and I did enjoy it then, but I do still enjoy it. I did watch it on a website, so that's my thoughts on that. And I will be seeing Meg 2 The Trench, so I will be doing a review of that, right? I thought I was going to review it, but we haven't done any reviews since Barbie, so I haven't been able to do any reviews as of late. So there's all that stuff, right? But I think, man, I might as well just change the topic again, right? So we already did season, or that like kind of like rant about how Scottish summer truly is not Scottish summer. We did the whole Meg stuff, but I have got to say that I got interrogated by the government. No, I'm just joking, right? I'm just joking. I did not get interrogated by the government, but I don't think I've ever talked about this stuff before, right? But I have actually applied to like universal credit, and for those who don't know what universal credit is, it's like you get this money from the government while you're looking for work and all that stuff, right? And what I originally thought was, when my mum was saying, "Oh, you might get interrogated, or you might be told all these questions and whatnot." But literally, all I had to do was go into this building. I was getting a bit nervous, right? I was getting a bit nervous here. Getting a bit nervous, like, oh, I'm going to be talking to high individuals of the government. Oh no. But really, I just had to show my ID. I had to show my passport, my phone number, my like I did say in an episode that I don't have a bank account, but I did actually get this Monzo card, which I don't think I've talked about before, which is like a Monzo card is pretty much like this bank account, like this online app thing. So I had to show them that, like the details on that. And so it's pretty much like that. But I did get a phone call today about how, like, have I been looking for jobs? When did I move back to New Zealand? So it's kind of regurgitating things. So I think that's what the government's going to start doing to me. It's like, you need to get a job, need to get a job. I did actually apply for ASDA. Did apply for ASDA today, so there's that, right? But as you'd think that would be like, oh, I got interrogated by the government. I got interrogated by the government. well, no, I did not get interrogated by the government, right? This wasn't like some FBI operation where they search my house and it's like, we need to find every single detail and all that, right? There's nothing like that. And honestly, man, does this episode feel like a shitpost? It kind of does, right? It just kind of does. I think but we're starting to get back into the mood of random topics, right? We're getting back into that. So, what else am I going to talk about? Because I think this is another point where we just never mention the topics and we just jump straight into the episodes. So I do actually want to talk about how I've been getting into Overwatch 2 the game, and I do not think I've ever talked about Overwatch 2 on the James Rambling Show or even Overwatch the original. But for those who don't know what Overwatch is, it's pretty much this game where you like compete and all of that, and you have to win matches and stuff like that. And I had my friend Kyle McCormick, right? You know him. I mentioned him a couple of weeks back. Well, he plays Overwatch 2, and he enjoys that game. And this game is developed by Activision Blizzard, which Activision Blizzard, they had this whole controversy like a year or two ago where they were assaulting their employees, but really that's besides the point of this actual game, because I actually think it's a lot of fun. And I don't think you shouldn't play a game based off of what a company does, like inside of their business, inside of their company, inside of their building, right? You should just have fun with the game. And I did say that about The Flash, where what Ezra Miller did outside of the film as a whole shouldn't really relate to how you feel about a movie. You shouldn't really put like the beat behind the scenes paired with what goes on, because what goes on behind the scenes is completely different to what actually happened in the movie, happened in the game, happened in the show, happened in the song, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, Overwatch 2, very good game, and I did actually play this game a long time ago called the Paladins. I don't think I've talked about Paladins, but the reason why this relates is because like Paladins is sort of like Overwatch, and there's people saying it's a rip off of Overwatch. And I remember like Paladins were like the player of the game, and both games came out in 2016. Like I think Overwatch came out in May 2016, and Paladins came out in September 2016 or something like that, right? So they were coming at a similar time, so people were comparing it to that. But it was like it just felt like that. And Paladins is a fun game, but it has the same concept where you're playing as these characters, as these heroes, and you're shooting people. You're like defending this checkpoint until the end of the match. So that's kind of like what that game has to offer. Another game that I was playing, I guess this is on a similar note. Like I played this game called eFootball, and if you remember a while ago on the James Rambling Show, right, I talked about FIFA and how it's kind of like a mid franchise, right? And honestly, right, FIFA, I do kind of still stand by that sentiment. Like, literally, I think I did apply that analogy to Fast and Furious, where it's like FIFA, where you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But I mean, I did actually play FIFA 2020, FIFA 22 in one of my sister's house, right, before I went to see Oppenheimer a few weeks back, right, a couple weeks back, whatever. And it was actually a lot of fun, right? So while I said FIFA is a mid franchise, it's still kind of a fun game to play. And eFootball, right? eFootball is a fun game as well, but it is kind of mid as well. I have to say, right? I have to say that eFootball is quite a mid game, because the thing is with this game is like literally all you're doing is hitting things into goals, and it's literally just a FIFA rip-off. But I did notice that the game ends 100 minutes or so. It's kind of weird, but I think I just took forever to get like have a goal. Like when you kick the ball into the net, right? I took forever to actually get it into the net. So obviously, you're gonna have to add that time on. But that's kind of my thoughts on that. But I guess to kind of follow through with that sort of thing, I did also play this game. I also did play this. I have also been playing Rocket League now. I do not think this is another game where I don't think I've ever talked about it on the podcast like a lot. But Rocket League is pretty much Car FIFA, and it is quite a lot of fun. Is it mid though? Is it mid like FIFA or eFootball? It's alright. I mean, you're just kicking a ball into a net, but you're playing it. You have the car. You have this car where you're driving around, and it honestly is one of these games where it's so easy to get the achievements from it. Like when you're doing it, I just get all these achievements, and that's on Xbox. Like you get the achievements. You did this certain thing to get the achievements for your gamer score. So that's how I feel about Overwatch 2, and eFootball and Paladins and all that kind of stuff. So another thing that I can kind of talk about. Now this is again probably like another weird topic combination. So remember how we talked about AI a while back on the James Rambling show, and we talked about how Elon Musk rebranded Twitter to X. Well, one of my friends decided to make an AI like video, a voice message where Elon Musk is praising the sausage, the Rolling Square sausage. This is very random indeed, but okay. So I'm gonna find these voice messages because this is actually hilarious. Where is it? Is it right there? Is that it? Oh wait, it's connect. Oh my god, dude, is it connected to my Bluetooth headphones? Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Right, I think this is it.
About the roles.
Oh wait, hold on a second. Talk about unprofessional podcasting right
I
here.
would just like to personally thank James Bain for informing me about the roles. It has truly changed my perspective of the cuisine of what I thought were disgusting peasants.
Right, so that's one voice message, but I believe there was another one. Where was it? Is that it?
I would just like to personally.
I can't remember. Where was it?
I would just like to personally.
Why do I only have this one? Why do I only have this one?
So, after I
Oh, here we go.
to X, I realized there was more to life than wasting billions of dollars. Like munching on rolls and square sausages.
So Elon Musk has shouted out the Rolling Square sausage. And you didn't really expect that, did you? Like that random combination of topics where you have Elon Musk and AI. But I feel like Elon Musk is perfect for AI because of what he is doing, especially with his SpaceX stuff and trying to innovate and change the course of technology. So we get all that stuff where Scottish summer really isn't summer. You've got mid video games and all that stuff in Meg 2 and Meg 1 and all that. But I do actually want to mix it up from randomness though. So I do feel like this is an interesting topic to say the least, right? I do not actually think I've ever talked about this person, but there was this whole like internet phenomenon that happened recently where like this person called Lil Tay quote unquote died, but not really. So they were like, these people were making up this idea that this little girl died, and she was like this meme back in the day where she was like flexing her money and showing off a big giant car, and it was this thing where people were kind of doing that, and that's kind of weird because it's somebody like you say, no, this person died, but not really. So I'll see if I can find like some article on it. Little T did not die news, right? That this is like the weirdest. Let me turn my phone down, right? So let me see what this was, right? So here we go, right? I found an article. Don't worry, right? I know what I'm professional as hell on this show, but here. The family of Little Tay have now issued a statement saying that she and her brother are alive and well. Mystery surrounds reports of the quote-unquote death of the Canadian teenager Lil Tay after a statement shared to the influencer and rapper social media accounts was thrown into question. On Wednesday, August 9, a statement was shared to her more than 3 million followers that described her quote-unquote sudden and tragic passing. It also claimed that her 21-year-old brother that quote-unquote passed had but offered had passed but offered no explanation about how or when his quote unquote death occurred. However, her former manager has called quote unquote cautious consideration of the validity of the statement, and her father, Christian Hope, told Insider he could not comment on the post and declined to confirm that his daughter had died. A mysterious Instagram post has also emerged, claiming that both Lil Tay and her brother I'm gonna butcher this right, but Jason Tian are quote unquote not dead. The post shared under the account name at Terramani underscore whatever was shared on Thursday morning in brackets August 10 and claims that she has been revoked access to her official Instagram account. Okay, so it says here, Lil Tay, real name Claire Hope, rose to fame on Instagram and YouTube in 2017. So this is a bit of background on her, right? When she was said to be just 9 years old, her viral fame centered around videos of her rapping and depicting a lavish lifestyle filled with luxurious cars and homes. With Lil Tay once referring to herself as the youngest flexer of the century. So she was basically a meme back in the days, like I was saying. So it was just talking about how the death, how like they were just saying, clarifying that she did indeed not die. So that was kind of a weird thing. Like if I was in her position, I'd probably kind of freak out. It's like somebody saying that I died, but I didn't actually die. Right? That has to be one of the strangest positions you have to be in right there. So I'm not gonna go on and on and on about that article. I just wanted to, like, in case you were confused, I mention that. So we got away that kind of stuff. So is there anything we can talk about in this, like, random, all over the place, whatever kind of James rambling episode? Well, I guess we could talk about, like, what was it? There was this other topic, right, right, I think I might as well just bring it back to Russian hard bass again, because I did talk about the Bad Neighbors song, but I have been getting back into the mood of doing this. So again, like, yeah, this Uamee guy made a song, but I actually don't know why, but like his recent tracks have actually been alright compared to some other stuff. Like, I don't know how you can make auto tune and hard bass sound like kind of catchy, but he managed to do it somehow. So I'm gonna give you like an understanding of what this track was. So here it is, right? And I did bash this guy a few weeks ago about how he's doing the American accents, but he did like this American auto tune with Russian hard bass, but it's actually quite catchy. So let me actually play this. I'm just trying to find it. Is this it? I found it. I found it. I found it, boys. Right. It's called 5. It's called, the song's called 5.56, which is kind of like this gun, maybe like a Russian gun or something. I've got no idea, bro. Unlimited refills. It's such a shitpost, but it's so fun. It's so catchy. As Belgian as waffles. As hopefully he doesn't copyright me. We're 20 minutes in. I turn up a bit more. Well, just listen to wait for the beat drop, right? This is kind of awesome. It's just really catchy. By no means is it like quality music, it's just catchy. Like, let's say very first, right? Wait for the beat drop, I'll shut up, right? Audio listeners be like, what the hell, bro? What are you doing, James? "81 episodes in and we're fucking doing this shit, man. What the hell? What is podcasting became these days?" So you get the memo, you get the gist. Russian hard bass song, catchy as hell. So yet again, this is like, how many episodes have we done in this studio or this location, right? Done like 4 or 5 episodes in this studio, and we have things like how summer is mid in Scotland, and you have all these topics, right? This is what you come for when you come to the James Ramlin Show, right? You do not come for professionalism at all. You do not come for anything like that. You just have a fun time. You listen to somebody's random rambles or relevant rambles or whatever. So other than that, really, man, this was a lot of fun to record, I must say. So I might actually start doing this where I do record things on Friday nights again, so that I can actually put it out at 10 p.m. on Saturdays. Yes, the time zone continues to get ratioed because New Zealand will be 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and Scotland will be like 10 p.m. So there'll be that kind of disconnect of like the time zones. But other than that, really, man, you guys are gonna be like, you're just running yourself into the ground doing this, James. But I could care less, right? I could care less. I'm having a lot of fun. So hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the James Ramblin' Show. Stay tuned for more episodes like this. And I'm going to shut up and see you next week for another episode. Bye. Bye. Bye.